Hey there, Matt from SSW TV, here at the SSW TV booth at NDC Sydney 2024. I'm here with Lars Klint, and we're talking feature board and feature toggles, feature management, all the things under the sun.
All of it.
Any llamas?
We can.
Yeah.
But this may be a long talk then.
Okay.
Interview talk, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Let's just geek out and have a look at some feature toggles.
Okay. Well, I want to set up the scene.
Set up the scene.
It's a pastoral eve. No, not really. So there's this idea. Most developers have heard of feature toggling. I'm guessing you have as well. I'm guessing you have.
I've used them.
Yeah, it's pretty common, right? Something you can toggle on or off. Often one of the issues with this is that the responsibility for this is with developers. And you and I are developers. Like, right, it's one of those, what I call yak shaving things.
It's time to turn it on now, do the deployment. Why isn't the deployment done?
Yeah, and it's sort of like, I don't want to manage this.
Why is the deployment broken?
Yeah.
Roll it back.
I want to build business functions and whatever, right? All the fun stuff. So we have, at Akata, we've come up with this idea, built a product called Feature Board, which is more in the feature management side of things. So you got to sort of tune your brain in a little bit differently than just thinking on off.
So it's not the features themselves, it's more the management side.
Yeah, so the whole idea of this is that we want to remove that load from developers and give it back to the product owners so that the product owners for whatever product you're building are in charge of features and managing them.
Nice.
That's the plan.
Right, sounds simple.
It's relatively simple. It's a different mindset, and that's usually where, you've got to sort of leave the whole on-off toggling thing on the shelf and try and think of it differently.
So it's not just like going into an app settings.json and flipping true to false.
No JSON.
No, any YAML.
No. YAML. It's all YAML. No YAML. So yes, there isn't a developer component. We can talk about that in just a second.
Yep.
But there's also this part here, which is I have on the screen, and now you can see it here too. Or there, whatever it is. Which is the actual feature board portal or interface.
Okay.
So the idea of this is that it's split up in two different things. So we have audiences on the left, which are, for lack of a better term, they're sort of like your groupings of users, but it could also be features. But it could also be contextual, as in what is happening right now in my app.
So they're not static groups of users like this email domain or this person, person A, person B.
Yeah.
But like you were saying, it's contextual, so there's some dynamic aspect to it.
And all of this don't just forget about the code for a minute. Okay? Don't think too much about the code. We'll get to that just a second. But for example, I have plans. This is like any other, let's say, news website could, for example, be, right? You have basic, premium, free, family. Now, this particular demo is called Bardic Beats. It's a Spotify sort of clone done in a bit of jest. Bardic Beats, we like wizards and stuff. Headed Bardic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this is nothing scary about this.
Yep.
Another way of segmenting this and creating an audience is song tag.
So this would be if it's a Spotify clone, what song they're playing.
Yeah, exactly. Or what style of song, or what theme, right? So it doesn't have to be the exact song. It could be. But you're just defining you're defining audiences of where you want something to happen.
Okay.
So, for example, here, we've taken this from Spotify. Maybe someone has tried to play a Star Wars song in Spotify. Have you ever done that?
Oh, they've got that Easter egg.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? So the progress bar turns into a lightsaber. It's great. This could be one way of doing that. Now, so that's the audience. That's how you sort of go, where do I want to segment my site into things that happens? It could be by user, it could be by feature, it could be by context.
Okay.
There's many ways. That's why it's feature management rather than just toggling things on and off, right?
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a different mindset, but it's super powerful. And then we have the features, which are just above. And these don't pay too much attention. These are just examples. You can call these whatever you want.
Oh, so kill switch is a feature.
Is a feature.
I thought it would be like, I want to turn all these features off.
Exactly. And that's why I was saying, don't pay too much attention to what these say. You can create your own new feature category to whatever you want.
Can you choose your own emojis?
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah, within reason.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll just go on this again. So for example, in here, let's look at, say, the plan limits, right?
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of plan limits here. And these are things that we've seen before. It could be, how many concurrent devices, how many songs can I play before I have an ad, things like that. but these are all targeting audiences. That's where the link is, right? So for example, family sharing, if you click on that, you can see that down here, it is targeting the audience of family. So that's the connection.
So just based off the color code, it looks like family is a type of plan.
Correct.
Okay.
And that's the whole idea.
Yeah.
And then you can add another targeted audience, right? So if I do that, it's trying to guess what it would be, because you've linked the two essentially, right? So there's a little bit of a help there.
Nice.
Just makes it nicer, easier to use.
Do they all have to be just true false? I can't put a value in there.
So
like an integer?
let's create a new feature, right, in here. So for example, we create a new plan limit, right? So this is actually a feature category. The vernacular is still a work in progress because it's tricky.
Yes, naming things is hard.
Naming things is very hard. Case invalidation
and
off by one errors.
Yeah, those are the 4 things.
No, 2.
Either way.
So if you create a new plan limit, and here you can see you can choose the data type. Boolean, options, number, or string.
Nice.
So you have 4 different ways of creating these. And it almost covers everything. It's very, very cool. I mean, I have to say, I actually think it's very cool. So then that way you can create new features within your feature categories. And if you look at, say, the kill switch, like you mentioned before, there would be 2, in this case, one, say, serve advertisements. Oh, crap, we want to stop serving advertisements, there's a problem, or whatever it might be. So this, again, is a Boolean, true, false, and this only targets the free plan. That's where you have the ads, etc. Now, one of the really, really, really cool things about this is that how many environments would you have in a project that you work on?
Depends on the project.
Like dev?
Yeah, sandbox.
Staging?
Pre-prod some sort, and then production.
Yeah. So 3 or 4.
Yeah, at least. Yeah.
Right. So managing this between environments can be very tricky. Some of our competing products, let's say. No, there's just been a sense of having you have one feature set or feature toggling set per environment. This doesn't. It is literally just.
It slices the data up a bit differently. Yeah.
And these are all based on API keys.
Okay.
So you would have this as part of your pipeline, right?
My production app has a particular API key,
exactly.
And then as a result, it only sees the stuff for production.
Yep.
Love it.
Yep. Simple as that. Right. Very basic. But what it means is that you can enable features on certain environments, and it's super quick. There's no redeployment or nothing like that at all. So I think, does that make sense?
Yeah. So if there's no redeployment, the devs, they're coding up, they're merging the pull requests, they're not blocked at all.
Nope.
The stuff's most probably being pushed out to dev, and they can see the features.
That's right.
They can ship the code dark to production. So the code's up there. It's just
they've done the features.
There's a toggle hiding it. Yeah.
Yeah. The dev is like, no, it's done. Up to you to when it goes out. So let's just have a look at the docs real quick for some of the code, because it is pretty easy to use it. So we have different SDKs, .NET, Java, JavaScript, Node.js, and React for now.
Cool.
And to be honest, one of the cool things about Copilot/AI is that rejiggering SDKs to different programming languages is actually really simple for something like Copilot.
I'm not surprised.
So bear that in mind. If you have to do another SDK, you always sort of go, please give me this as Python. It's not 100%, but like...
The SDK is just talking to an API, and you're grabbing the open API spec and just...
Pretty much.
Cool.
Yeah. But, people like it in their language.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, here's a REST API.
Well,
I don't know what
if there's a consistent way that everyone's talking to it, makes it a lot easier to use.
Exactly right.
And there's a CLI?
I'll just scroll past. Yeah, there's a CLI component as well. I won't go into that.
Okay.
We'll be here all day. But yeah, you can use the CLI as well. You can populate it with test data.
Like on a pipeline, you want to seed a new...
you can put in your own JSON file as data.
Yep.
So you can seed it with data already. That's how we actually create the Bardic Beats one. We have it as a JSON file. We just push it in.
Cool.
So I'll just show you down here. So you have an audience provider with the claims. You give that somehow you define as a company, because we can't decide that for you.
Yep.
How do I define my audience claims? Like who gets what, basically, right?
Yeah.
I'll get back to that in just a second, because there's a really cool thing why we do it that way. And then you register it. Middleware, it's literally app.useFeatureboard. Like, pretty simple.
Tip the iceberg, yep.
I'll just scroll over this, which is, other types of cases, and usage is the big one. So you have your audience control, your audience provider. And that is what you use. You just say get feature value, features allow edits, for example. So there's...
and then false.
So there's always a default.
Okay.
Because, if this doesn't come back, if it's not been implemented in the portal...
Nice.
Right, so there's always a default.
Okay.
It means your code will never break. And we're actually talking to a customer about this that have two massive monolithic code bases. Mm-hmm. There used to be one, then they were split for organizational reasons, and now they want to combine them again, right? Then that's fine. That happens quite a bit. Yep. That's just the nature of software. Yep. But using something like this, they will be able to implement features, say, from monolith B into A and not turn it on until it's ready. But they can just keep pumping them in and moving them over until they have one code base, and then they can manage it that way.
Nice.
So that's one of the use cases for it. The reason I set up here, I'll just go back up, the claims provider, there it is, claims audience provider,
yes,
is that the reason we use audiences rather than users, which is a very common way of doing toggling, is that think of a big news website, for example.
Okay.
And you load your user in, right, as in a session. Is the next session going to be the same user? No.
Maybe.
It's highly unlikely, right? Highly unlikely if it's a big news website.
Yeah.
You get thousands of people watching or reading, right? So every time you load the page, you have to go and fetch the user details. Mm-hmm. If you did it by user, in this case, every request would be a new request to FeatureBoard. Mm. Whereas if you do it by audience, the CDN's happy because it can just reuse everything that it already knew from the CDN. It's much quicker. It's much cheaper to run because your data bandwidth, egress, ingress, all that is a lot less because you can use caching so efficiently.
Nice.
You don't have to load the user every time.
Yeah.
It's blah, 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 blah. Questions?
Shut up and take my money. No, that seems pretty cool, especially if there's like a .NET SDK. So looking here, this is server side, but like if I can do that, if there's a .NET SDK, I assume I could just chuck it into a Blazor app or something like that. Yep. And
in fact, that's how we built one of the demo apps.
Nice.
Yep.
And then I've got UI features lighting up and turning off.
So the thought here is the separation. So we have code deployment, we have feature management, two completely separate things. They are not linked.
Yep.
Right? So the devs do the code deployment. That's this page, let's say, for the SDK. And then the product owner who says, I need to, on Thursday is a big launch for the blah, 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 blah. Then they can go in and use this portal, never look at the code. And the two, of course, they'll communicate. The feature has to be in there in the code in order for it to toggle.
Well, they can test it on staging, see if it works. When they're happy, they're ready for Thursday.
Yep. And it's that power that we then take away from the dev, and they don't care anyway, because they're like, I don't want to manage this. Right? We give that to the product owner.
I like it.
And everybody's really happy.
Awesome. Yeah. This has been awesome.
No, thank you.
I kind of want to use it now.
You can. Well, this SDK is actually free. It's open source.
That's even better.
Yep.
Love open source.
The way we make our money on this is the portal and the actual management of the features.
Nice.
But if you want to make your own, go for it.
Cool.
Good luck.
All right.
If anyone want to know more, I'm me. Go contact me, Lars.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Lars. This has been Matt from SSW TV. We've been talking feature management and feature audiences, and
exactly.
I've had a great time. Thanks, Lars.
Thanks for having me.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.